Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name's Natalie and I do videos on handbag reviews, unboxings, a bit of luxury eye candy. So if you're into any of those, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you back. So in today's video, I'll be talking about the Cartier Justin Clue ring in the thin, small version and why I returned it and exchanged it. So if you've seen my previous video or a couple of videos ago, I unboxed it on my channel and I was so excited about it just because, one, of how edgy and also dainty it is in the thin version, and two, because it represents such a huge achievement for me. I purchased it for myself just as a treat to kind of celebrate and to commemorate all my hard work that I put into YouTube and reaching my first 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So I wanted something to remember that huge milestone for, so that's why I purchased it for myself, and it's just a constant reminder that hard work pays off. And with that nail head design, it kind of represents hard work to me anyway. So that's why I purchased it and I absolutely loved it. But I wanted to talk about in this video what not many people talk about. I did a lot of research, and you guys know me, I do a lot of research on handbags and jewelry pieces just because if I'm spending that much money, I want to be 100% sure about it and happy with it and get my cost per wear on that item down. So I did a lot of research on the Justin Clue ring in the thin version on the Purse forum, and if you guys haven't heard of the Purse forum, I'll link it down below. And it's a really good resource if you're looking for a particular handbag or you're eyeing a particular piece, anything like that. They talk about it, even though it's called the Purse forum, they talk about anything luxury. So if you have any questions or anything, you can post it on there, or you can kind of do some research and read threads and what other people have posted, because if you're thinking it, most likely someone else is thinking it too. So I'm sure someone's already asked that question there. But with this ring, not many people talked about this, and so I didn't really think it was such a huge deal or if it was anything to be concerned about because it wasn't posted or anything. So I did a lot of research on the Purse forum and also YouTube. I watched a lot of videos on the Justin Clue ring before I purchased it, and yeah, no one mentioned it. I think I found one video after I'd purchased it talking about it, and that was just for a very brief moment, and I thought maybe it's just me. So I wanted to go through all that in this video and kind of what to look out for when you are purchasing the Justin Clue ring and kind of what to consider. I'll get into all that in this video, and I really hope I can help some of you guys out there who are looking at this ring or think of purchasing it or have this ring and have a bit of doubt. I hope this video helps you, and yeah, let's get into it. So just a quick backstory with the ring. I actually went in store to purchase it, and I purchased it a few weeks ago, so it's been quite a while, and I unboxed it on my channel and showed you guys what I purchased, but it just felt a little bit snug. And if you saw that unboxing video, you'll know that I kind of mentioned even after a few minutes I could feel it already kind of like digging into my skin, and it left like a little mark on my pointer finger. So the ring that I purchased then was a size 53, and I actually went in store maybe a week or two later and exchanged it for this one right here. So I exchanged it for just one size up. So this is actually a size 54. And I know it's just like one size up, but it makes a huge difference. And that's just because when I was in store, when I purchased the size 53, it was actually a really warm day. And obviously when you're in the boutique, in stores, they have the aircon on just to kind of cool you down, and vice versa. If you were to go in winter time when it's really cold outside, if you were to go in, it'll be really warm because they'll have the heating on. So when I went in, because it's summer here in Australia, it was a really hot day. It was probably around like 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. And so it was a really hot day. When we went in, it was really cool inside. So when I tried the 55 and 54, they just felt way too loose. Like the 54 was okay when I tried it on, but I could just kind of like easily just like pull it off. It wasn't to the point where like if I was to do that, it would fly off or anything, but I could just feel it a little bit loose. So that's why I went with the size 53, because it felt snug in store. Like keep in mind the aircon was on, so it was really snug on my finger. And I felt that was a really good fit, or I thought that was a really good fit. And with my Love wedding band, I have it in the size 53 as well. So usually if you were to purchase the Justin Clue ring or the Justin Clue collection, like the bracelet, you'll usually go a size down from your Love wedding band or Love ring size. So because this is a size 53, you would normally go a size 52 in the Justin Clue collection or Justin Clue ring. But because I wanted to wear it on my right hand, on my index finger, on my pointer finger, I wanted to get a bigger size because this by far is the largest finger out of all my fingers, just because I'm right-handed and obviously I use it more. So that's why I went with the size 53, so the same size as my Love wedding band. And I thought that was okay. Like in store, it felt really nice and snug. But obviously when you're in store, you're trying it on. It's only for a couple of minutes, and obviously again, it's really cool and it's not like normal weather. Your fingers aren't swollen or anything. So I purchased it and that was that. And obviously I waited a couple weeks to unbox it because I wanted to unbox it with you guys to make it like a true unboxing and kind of share the experience with you because of the sentimental factor behind it. But as soon as I put it on that day, it was quite a warm day when I unboxed it too. And I had it on for a few minutes and then I kept it on the rest of the day, just wearing it around the house. I felt it really uncomfortable, and I felt like it kind of like dug into my finger. So with the nail head design, I'll show you this as an example. With the design, obviously it's a really cool, unique design with the nail head there, and it kind of like spins around. So it's kind of looks like a nail that's kind of like hammered around and molded into a ring. But with the bottom part, I don't know if you can see that there. See how like the nail head, it kind of, I'll flip it that way. See how like the nail head scoops down there, so it's not like a flat surface. So that part there kind of like dug into my finger. It was a huge dent in my finger and it just felt so uncomfortable, and it was borderline painful. So I was like, I don't think that's normal, and I went on the purse forum and YouTube videos and no one mentioned anything about it. People were like, yeah, you get used to it. It is uncomfortable for a couple of days, but then you get used to it. But no one ever mentioned having like a massive dent in their finger, and it was really red. So for example, if I was to put it on like that, if I had the size 53, the size down on like a normal warm day, and I kind of like went like that, like I made a fist with my hand, that would push in so badly and it was so painful. Like I just felt so uncomfortable. When I slipped it off, there was a huge red, see now, like you can see there's like a tiny mark there, but that's as deep as it's gonna get with the 54 because I've worn this already. And yeah, it's not, see, there's just like a red mark, but with the size 53 there was actually like a dip in my skin, and I'm like, I don't think that's normal. And yeah, I couldn't find anything on the purse forum or YouTube, and I thought that was just me, like maybe I'm just overreacting. I was like tossing and turning. I was like, I don't know if this is normal, like it feels so uncomfortable. So if it is normal, I don't want to keep it because I will never wear it. I know I can wear it in the winter times when my fingers aren't as swollen, but that to me just doesn't make sense because the cost per wear of that item just doesn't make sense to me. If I'm only wearing it during winter and not wearing it during summer, I want to be able to wear it every single day or whenever I want to wear it. So I was tossing and turning, and I messaged my SA, and she was really kind enough to get me to come back in store and just try on the 54. And this was like almost borderline the 30-day exchange return policy period. So if you do purchase something from the Cartier boutique, you can exchange it within 30 days. For some reason, I thought it was 14 days, but luckily it was 30 days. And even now during the pandemic, COVID and everything like that, I think they're willing to kind of be quite lenient with it. So this was like 28 days since I purchased it, and they actually didn't have a size 54 in store anymore. So my SA had to order one in. It was only like maybe just over a week for them to order it in. And again, it was a really warm day that day. So when I went in, my fingers were quite swollen already. And so my SA had the size 55 and 54 for me. And I tried on the 55 and it was really quite loose. Like it was comfortable. It was a lot more comfortable. It wasn't digging in at all. Like it wasn't like dipping in at all. So I was tempted to get the 55, but then I tried on the 54 and it kind of dug in a little bit. It like kind of like dips in a slight bit and it kind of leaves a little mark, but it's not to the point where it digs into my skin or anything. And I was tossing and turning. I was like, oh, should I get the 55 or 54? But I felt like with the 55, if I was to do like that, it'll kind of like fly off, or like if I was to wash my hands, it'll kind of like just spin around and just like potentially fall off. So my SA even said to get the 54 is probably a better fit, and she even looked at the 53 on my finger, and because my finger's already swollen from walking around that day, she saw that. She's like, no, it's definitely way too tight for you. The 53 digs in and that's not right, so definitely go up a size. So I decided to go with the 54, and again I was like, oh, it still kind of digs in. Like I felt a little bit uncomfortable with it. Like even doing this, I can feel it, but it's not painful or uncomfortable like the 53 was. So a subby of mine actually commented saying that she purchased the Justin Clue ring too in the thin size, and she mentioned that it was uncomfortable at first a little bit too, and her essay actually mentioned to kind of like put the nail head slightly off center or like to the side of where the vein is. And I think that's what made it so uncomfortable, because when it was sitting on my finger, the size 53, it was tight already, so that was uncomfortable. But when I did that, it dug into where my vein on my finger is, so it's kind of hard to see. It might be hard to see where your vein is, but if you kind of just like put it on and kind of like, my vein is slightly in the center of my finger, and I think that's probably what made it so painful. Like whenever I did that, it was digging into the vein, and that was just so painful. So I kind of like tilted it to the side, and it's not to the point where like you have it completely off to the side where you can't even see the nail head. It's just probably like 0.5 millimeter off to the side, and it just makes a world of difference. Even with the size 54, like when I'm outside during summer in the hot days in the sun and it's on my vein and I do that, it feels uncomfortable, like slightly uncomfortable. But if I just move it ever so slightly to the side and do that, I just don't feel it at all. Like it just, yeah, it's like so comfortable now. So thank you to my subby who mentioned that to me. That makes a world of difference, and I just don't know why I didn't think of that, or why my essay didn't mention that. Maybe she didn't know either, but yeah, that just makes a world of difference. I wish Cartier did half sizes. Like that would be such a huge improvement to their collections. So I would highly recommend, if you are eyeing the Justin Clue ring and you're wanting to purchase it, go in store and try it if you can, just because it varies so much depending on how swollen your fingers are, which finger you want to wear it on, and your kind of how you like to wear rings. Because a lot of my rings that I have from Pandora and Tiffany are just like circular rings, like a standard circle ring where it just wraps around your finger. Whereas with the Justin Clue ring, because it is like an open-ended ring, like you'll see, I don't know if you can see that, but see how kind of like it just wraps around and there's no actual closure to the ring. It's just like a very thin ring band, and then it kind of like wraps around there. So there's quite a lot of open gap, and I think that's why they recommend that you go down a size, just because it is open and it fits a lot looser. But they don't mention anything about the nail head and how it's like circular, and that part digs into the skin. I don't know if you can see that there. See how like, I wish that part there was just flat, so it still looks like a nail from the outside and like top view and everything like that, but it would fit a lot more comfortably if it was flat, so it's not like dipping into the skin. I hope that makes sense. I really hope you guys know what I mean. Obviously I haven't had it for long enough to do a full-blown review on it, but just from first impressions, the nail head is the major con with this ring. Everything else I love about it, and even with the end of the nail, it's kind of like an open-ended nail, and it's pointy, but it's not sharp or anything. Like it's not going to prick me or anything. But I imagine if I was to like put on a jumper, I might have to be careful with it. But I haven't really worn jumpers these days because it's summer here in Australia, so I can't really comment on that. But I will do like a 6-month or a 1-year update on this ring if you guys want. I'll be happy to do one and let you know what my thoughts are on the ring. But so far, so good with the 54, the size up. So yeah, definitely go in store if you can and try it on, just because, as I said earlier, it just varies so much depending on what finger, how swollen your fingers are, and how you like to wear your rings, like the comfortability and how sensitive your skin and your tolerance rate is. So yeah, that's the Justin Clue ring in the thin version in 18 karat yellow gold. So that's all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. I just wanted to share with you guys what my initial thoughts and impressions were of the Justin Clue ring and what my journey was with it, just so you guys can learn from it and kind of know what to expect if you are looking at purchasing it and not make the same mistakes that I did. But that's all for today's video. Please consider subscribing if you found this video helpful. I have a lot more content like this planned, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!